expected. Now, a sneak peek as we look into what is likely to happen for tomorrow, again, that is more reduction in wet weather activities. We might be dealing with this dry weather for just the next couple of days. Now, even that system that has been coming through for the Mount Elgon Island looks like it is also retrieving back. So meaning that tomorrow we could actually be having hotter weather for most areas within the country. But also you take a look into the fact that much of East Africa is getting dry weather, and that has been attributed to some of the high pressure systems that have been forming over the Atlantic Ocean, and of course most of the systems that do interrupt our weather patterns and bring in the dry weather, especially for this time of the year, as we talk about more of a reduction in wet weather activities. Now, when we head into looking into what we can expect for Thursday, still more dry weather for much of the country. But there is some good news coming through. We start to see some of the systems forming north of the continent, and that is towards South Sudan. Now, that is a system that is most likely to also extend towards our country, and of course that will be bringing in a little bit of rains. If you're seeing those light blue colors right there towards the Karamoja region, that is indicative of some rains starting to come through. That will be across the Karamoja region, and that system could be extending all the way up to northern part of the country. And of course, we do expect a little bit of those rains to take some temperatures down as some of those systems continue to develop. But if you look at even much of the southern part of Africa right now, dealing with mostly sunny weather, where you see the open white colors right there, it is indicative of sunny weather that is coming through. Now that means that we have had a reduction in most of those systems that usually affect our weather. But also taking a keen interest where if you can see that black, red, orange color right there over the Indian Ocean, that is a low pressure system. Now this low pressure system is also one of the reasons as to why we are having reduced wet weather activities. What happens is that most of the winds that would be bringing in the rains towards our country would now be moving towards this low pressure system, and because of that, then we see some of the rains now being diverted towards this kind of system. And of course, when that happens, that means we also stop to receive some of those rains. So enough to tell us that we could be dealing with much more of this dry weather for the next couple of days, at least until that system moves away, and we can then expect to resume with our rains, especially for parts of eastern Uganda and northern Uganda, who have actually defined their rainy season for this time of the year. And now you can see there's just going to be just a couple of days with less rains. But also much of what we'll be experiencing for today is going to be mostly sunny intervals, also indicated in the forecast coming in from UNIMA, and of course temperatures will be equally high for much of your day. So enough to say that, it's up to you to find a way to keep yourself a little bit cool in this kind of dry weather. And of course, have your water bottle with you. Make sure that you're well hydrated, because temperatures could get higher than what you are used to. Well, that is it from Weather and Nature for this morning. We do have Good Morning Uganda agenda coming up, but we'll be here to take you through that. And of course, later on, we'll also be talking sports. We do know that the AFCON women of the country are on a struggle. And of course, we did see that in the papers. They're writing to say the coach is not giving up, is sticking with his plan, and maybe we could be expecting good news. Ruben will be here to take you through that. Later than that, we'll also be going for Good Morning Uganda Extra. Well, my name is Molin Kenyana. I want to wish you a beautiful day.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings, with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome to English in a Minute. The beginning of spring means sunshine, flowers, and sneezing. Are Jonathan and Anna going to discuss how they don't have allergies? Not cool, guys.
Hey Anna, tell me how the bread baking contest went.
Jonathan, I didn't win. I should have, but I didn't.
Well, what's that trophy for?
Oh, this? I came in second.
Oh, stop. Second place is nothing to sneeze at.
It is when there are only 2 people in the contest.
The phrase nothing to sneeze at means that something is not small or unimportant. It should be taken seriously. Sneezing. And that's English in a Minute.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Every language has weather-related expressions. 2 common weather conditions are rainy and sunny.
Jonathan, are you coming to my lawn care party? We need to mow the lawn, pull the weeds, and cut down a dead tree.
Of course, I will be there.
You know, you also said you were coming to my Paint My Kitchen party, and you didn't.
This time I will. Come rain or shine, I will be at your place Saturday morning.
Come rain or shine means something will happen no matter what. It's a promise. You can even use the phrase when talking about the actual weather. So, if you invite people to an outdoor party, you can tell them it will happen come rain or shine. And that's English in a Minute.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, and thank you for keeping it with us here on UBC TV. Once again, I'm Robert Chirabo. It is a bright morning here in Kampala. So if you're coming to town, well, I'm very sure you must have followed Mole and Kenyana with weather and climate, and you know what to put in, how the weather is going to look like. But also the time check is exactly 4 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. And what does that mean? Well, we keep on updating you for you to plan your movements very wisely so that you get to your destination on time. But important, you can carry us wherever you go. That is on our YouTube channel. You can rewind, you can forward, and you can enjoy this program at your time of convenience in case you're not direct to your TV set. So have that in mind so that you don't miss any segment of our show. I'm Robert Chirabo, and welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Now, what we do in this segment is we have guests or a guest in studio, and we look at issues that concern you, and we have an in-depth analysis of these issues. But don't forget, you can also be part of this topic of discussion by simply going to our social media platforms and send us a message. Our WhatsApp number, we can read out your message, our Facebook, our Twitter handle, all those, we get feedback, and of course you get the response that you need. We want to thank those that continue sending in those messages, and of course our guests respond to them. This morning we are going to be discussing a very pertinent issue, and that is agriculture. Most of the times we talk about Uganda, our backbone is agriculture. But you see, how much have we invested? How much do you know, do I know regarding agriculture? And what are the best farming practices or systems that can sell Uganda or can help us achieve that desired vision of 2040, but also fight household poverty? This morning, I have two gentlemen who are farmers and very passionate about what they do. And we are going to be discussing commercial agricultural systems with specific interest in what we call organic farming. The world today is talking about organic farming. The world today is looking for produce that has been grown organically. And that is where we can have a breakthrough as a country. You have your mangoes, they'll ask, are they organic? Were they grown? You can't say no. Oh, well, some countries actually are not even accepting some of these things. They mind what they eat. And I have Kayemba Matthias, who is a very good farmer, but also he comes from COA multiplier, they implemented by PELUM. Now, what this stands for, COA, is Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture. You're most welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
And on the extreme end, I have, that is Serubiri Titus Geoffrey. You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Still is a COA member, which is Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture, and we want to better understand this. I'll begin with Kayemba. First, I must say you're smart. I love color green, which symbolizes nature and all that. When you talk about organic agriculture, for a person watching this show, this word has become trendy. Organic fertilizers, organically grown. What are we talking about?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, all our viewers. I'm Kayemba Matthias again from PELUM, Participatory Ecological Land Use Management. That is the organization that is implementing this project of organic agriculture in Uganda. And it has around 66 member organizations in Uganda. And this program is implemented by 100 countries in the whole world. So it is not just a mere talk, it is a serious talk. So when you're talking about organic agriculture, we are looking at a system of agriculture that does not allow you use external inputs that damage the soil, that contaminate the food. So basically when you talk about it, it is that. So it looks at the health of the soil, it looks at the ecosystem and the people in the ecosystem. So that system of agriculture is what we call organic agriculture or agroecological agriculture.
When you talk about that system, the biggest question would be, is it still possible? Today we are seeing people applying pesticides. We are seeing people apply all sorts of fertilizers. Some will tell you that soil, I don't know what happens. The soil has aged.
Yeah.
So you need to put this. We are seeing the meat we consume, you vaccinate, you inject, you use all pesticides. Is that still possible? Because many farmers are not looking at that. Actually, globally, not only in Uganda. Yes.
Yes, good morning, viewers. I'm Titus Geoffrey Selubiri. Thank you for tuning on UBC. I'm a KSOA multiplier. It is very possible, according to what you've asked. It is just we, the human beings, to put in mind that if I'm doing something, am I caring? If you don't care, meaning that you don't, it won't be possible. Then if you put the care on what you do, then meaning there will be health. Because many people are dying daily on a rapid pace because there is no health. They don't mind about the health of the people. Then the ecosystem. What you're doing, is it fitting into the environment? Are you caring to the environment? Then are you fair? Are you fair to what you're doing, to the people that you're going to be rendering the services? So in organic agriculture, we do consider those 4 principles: the care, the healthy, the fairness, and the ecology. So you find that, yes, there might be an insect here that is affecting your plant, but it will be useful to the next.
So the bees.
Yes. So if you do separate the bees, then are you going
to have pollination
take place? So if you do spray the bees, then meaning that we shall not have honey the next time. So if we do have those 4 principles, meaning it is very possible.
Well, how have people embraced this system? Because I find it may be tiresome, where someone would say, instead of digging the soil, they just buy a pesticide, have their pump on their back, then they will go spray, and the grass or weed will dry, and they will plant. But you just get space here, and you see it is less inconveniencing, it is cheaper, it is timely. Where you would need maybe 2 people to work on your garden, 1 man with a pump and a pesticide, then you find that, oh, this grass is dried, and the next day you're planting. So how have Ugandans perceived this way that seems a bit doing things God's way, yet in the other it's very inconveniencing and maybe affects on my profits?
Yeah, true, it is cheaper, in a short saying. But if you do spray and the weed dries, then what about the microbes, the microorganisms into the soil? Yes, you're applying the inorganic fertilizers day and night, season per season, but there is time that when even if you apply those, you won't get something. Because the essence of these inorganic fertilizers, the pesticides and so on, they do feed the plant, and then the plant feeds the human being. But in organic, we say you feed the soil feeds the plant, and then the plant feeds the human being. In the consideration, the microbes, the microbacteria into the soil that we cannot see with our naked eyes, they do help that process of catalyzing those bigger elements or components into the soil that are needed by the plant to consume. So if you do it easily, timely, and so on, then what about the next generation? What about your health? That's why we're dying on a high rates. People are eating, not minding their life. Cancer is now, I don't know, if you ever visited Mulago, you already see cancer, guys. It is because of what they eat. It is because every time they put the knapsack on their backs and they do supply. Soils now are dead. You find soils having hard pans. They are creating hard pans. If you see an indicator of hard pans of soils, meaning there are no microbes, there are no microbacteria into the soil. So yes, you've taken less time, but not minding about the 70 years to come.
Well, Kayemba, 2 things come in my mind from Selubiri's explanation.
Yes.
We are looking at climate change and nutrition. two areas in organic agriculture that I've had him explain very well. Now, let's first look at how is organic farming of any benefit in terms of nutrition?
Thank you very much. So we are looking at the advance challenges that all the effects that the inputs that the farmers are using, that all people bring food to the table are putting in the system that are contaminating food. So we are looking at food, we are looking food to be food, it should be healthy. So if it is not healthy, then it ceases to be food. So we want to tell people, if you don't take food to be your medicine, then you are taking medicine to be your food. So when we are doing this agriculture that is organic, for it, it combines the scientific innovations and the traditional innovations. So we are looking at diversity. When we are growing our things, let us diversify our gardens. So when you diversify your garden, that means you have variety of crops. And when you look at the variety of crops, you will find somebody is having bananas. Under the bananas, there are fruits, or like avocado, like oranges. Then there are vegetables, dodo, amarathas. There could be so many things within the same bracket or same plot of land. And this one brings us now to the three combination of the nutrients that anybody's in health needs. That is the food that gives you the energy. That is, those are carbohydrates, both the energy-giving food. Then you have foods that build your health. That is protective food, the fruits and the vegetables. Then you have foods that build your body. Those are the proteins. So we are looking at somebody putting those in the same garden. And if you use these external inputs, you are bringing contaminated food on your table. That means the nutrition you are going to have is less the serious nutrients that your body is supposed to have. So what are we advocating for now? So when you spray, let me give you an example. Somebody sprays amaranthus. Amaranthus, its gestation period is 21 days. But somebody who brings the chemical, the pesticide, will tell you after spray there is a safe interval of 14 days. So 21 minus 14 days, what remains there? So we remain with the 7 days. But they've told you the safe time is 14 days. So you find that somebody is taking the amaranthus to the market with the contamination of the pesticide. Then that one ceases to be a nutritious food. It is contaminated food. So that's why actually I've always referred people to the paper that came out on the 1st of March. That was New Vision, that gave the toxicity level of things we eat in our around markets. That is Nakasero, Owino, and Kalere. So this research came out in the New Vision and was clearly showing the toxicity level that is found in the foods that we buy from those markets. That's why we are coming here to create the awareness for people to know what they eat. Because what you eat, surely we are comparing the human body to a car. If your car has a fuel tank that is supposed to take petrol, but maybe by mistake, somebody puts for you diesel fuel, we believe that car is going to break down. Automatically, your body, look at your system, your stomach. When you put in bad food, you are breaking your system.
Now, let's understand this very well. Talk about toxicity levels. Many Ugandans today, their gardens are supermarkets, they are markets. You know?
Yeah.
Very few people, most so urban dwellers, where you have a huge population of this country. And when I go to a supermarket, say buy meat, it's displayed very well. I'll look at, if I want fatty or lean meat, I want that. When I go to buy vegetables, I'm not going to know where they have come from. Maybe they will say Uganda or South Africa. If I want to eat an apple, so the person who is going to consume this, I see them as innocent upon your judgment. So what I don't have one time only around after American Embassy when you pass this side of Zambia. But a little bit before you reach the shop, I think there is a Catholic something there.
Sharing hall.
That's where one time I saw, is it organic market?
Yes.
Yeah? I saw something like organic market. And I branched. But I was shocked. They were saying these are organic things, though I didn't purchase anything there. But now, how do we safeguard ourselves? Because we are innocent here. And we are, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right, mister. Thank you. Then, you see, that's why we are here. Yes, people have been eating in the way they like, or according to what is on market. But we say, yes, you've done that for years and years. And you're saying this is what you found on market. But you see, we as the multipliers, we are down from the villages. Meaning that we are trained by PELUM, Uganda, in the instance of disseminating information to the farmers down into the communities. So meaning that we are not the only one into this struggle. There are many, many farmers there that are willing to change the way of people eating. And into this, yes, we say if a farmer might grow it organically, then what about the media guys? What about the chef? Because something might be grown organically, but into the preparation, and it is totally denatured. So that's why we are here, to let everyone know. And in this, there are markets that are open and they are working. Take an example, there is an organic market. Everything that you find there is purely organic. And if you Google, you find Professor Sechewa Charles is the one in charge of that market. If you go to Namayumba, there is an organic market. You've been talking about Rubaga, sharing hall. There is a market. This side of Kalere, everywhere I was trying to put those markets in that somebody can see, yes, this is something that is purely organic. With the help of we, the technical guys, and the farmers, the chef, you, the media guys, if somebody will understand. Because yes, one time I was in Masulita, we were in a campaign of planting trees, agroforestry trees. So we found a guy, after harvesting his tomatoes, then he mixed macrozim. There into the plywood and was spraying.
Do you know why he does that? Macrozim, we are told it increases shelf life.
That's what he told me.
That's why when you go to all markets, those tomatoes have that, our viewer referring to that funny powder you find on tomatoes when you go to buy them. Why they put that is it hardens the skin. So this tomato will take longer to rot or go bad, if I use that word.
Yes.
So that is what we call shelf life, is the time after harvesting a produce, that time it takes before going bad or rotting. So that is shelf life. Now, macrozim increases shelf life of those tomatoes. But the bad thing is you're eating salads, you're eating what? And you're consuming it very well.
Maybe something. Take an example of what he said. That in any chemical that you're using to spray, there are precautions written there. That into using this, you'll take an example, 14 days before consumption. Then he harvests the tomatoes and applies macrozim. Then he goes to the market. Then, what about you? What will happen to you, the consumer? The media here, what will happen to you? What happened to me? Meaning that my life is going to be shortened. And if you don't mind where you will be selling your tomatoes, you just mind about that day market, then what about the next generation? Because it's me who is going to produce, and then we'll have where you will be selling your tomatoes.
Yes, Chiemba, I wanted to interject.
Yes, actually I was looking at the statement that is actually a myth. When somebody says shelf life. Shelf life is like me eating well or smearing Vaseline on myself when I have not eaten well. Somebody tells you, the Vaseline you put on yourself is going to help you not get hungry. But you've put it on the surface. So shelf life of any crop is attained when it is still growing. So when you feed it when it is still in the garden, that's the time it develops its immunity. Its skin grows because the nutrients are still going there to grow the skin of that tomato, the skin of that mango. So it will stay longer on the shelves. But when you put it there at the time when you've finished harvesting, that is a lie. It is a myth. It has never applied. Instead, you are poisoning food. So those people who are doing it, actually, they should stop because it is a myth. Even though you go in the nutrition of crops, it is not there. Nowhere you will read it. That when
it's already picked.
Purely we are saying the value chain from production to marketing, that is post-harvest handling. The people who harvest maize before it has dried from the garden, that's now the problem we are getting of getting contaminated maize and people are eating poison. So the challenge is actually people need to know how do we handle after post-harvest. So the challenge is that, so there are some people who bring those myths. So now people take it as a gospel truth, but surely it is not true that but it has actually a challenge. Mancozeb has a challenge. And the research has it. Those people who get cerebral problems, spinal bifida, it is one of the challenges, actually it's one of the causes. That is what the research has, indosulfan. And indosulfan is the active ingredient in mancozeb. So you imagine eating it fresh. Somebody just put it there. So if a mother is pregnant, they know that the baby inside the mother is going to get affected because of that regular consumption of that contamination of indosulfan. So that's why we are now looking at people to get to know what they are eating. That's why we are connecting, because we have said these people don't know. So that's why we are here, to create awareness. This is what we call customer awareness. The consumer awareness should actually be on the high level because it is you to choose what you are going to eat. So it is you now to choose the market you are going to. But now we have a challenge that the farmer, this person is, as you've said, is just going to the supermarket to buy. He doesn't know the person who produced. He doesn't know the trucker that to transport it to the market. So he's only meeting it on the shelves. So we are meeting the farmers. We are training farmers. And these farmers, it's not only training, but we are putting standards. We call it a participatory guarantee system. Whoever is going to be participating is guided, is regulated to produce what is safe. Than hearing that, oh, the market needs this, then just violates the principles. So participatory guarantee system guides the farmer who is going to participate in producing safe food, so that now they can bring safe food. Then we're asking, how do we now identify it? So participatory guarantee system is going to put labels. Each farmer is producing, we are putting stickers or labels on their containers, on their baskets, so that they deliver, and you'll find, I believe, some oranges and in supermarkets, sometimes you find them with some
stickers,
labels, yes. Yes. So they are labeled. So even as we are going to that level, but before we reach there, we create this awareness so that people can start knowing what they are eating, so that we can create food that is safe for people. So food will never be food until it is safe. Yes.
Well, Matthias rightly said food will never be safe until it is safe. But sensitization is very good, and knowledge is power, and we can protect our people. But I'm still disturbed by the fact that, one, organically grown produce is more expensive. When you travel outside Uganda, or when you go to these modern high-end supermarkets, some even differentiate. Tell this is organically grown, and this is not. This is expensive. Unfortunately, this is something that is fairly new in Uganda. Yet producing these organically grown foods is still expensive to the farmer. I'm so passionate about agriculture, and me, I'm not about organic farming, but teaching farmers various techniques, various crops. But here is where you find a farmer and tell him, no, now these days we plant in line. You know? These days we use this kind of rope. We do this. I'll tell you, but you see, my grandfather was planting the same crop.
Yeah.
Years passed. Here we apply organic fertilizers. Tells you, those I will use few. Last 2 seasons, yet those organic fertilizers are still expensive compared to the inorganic fertilizers. So how are you going to convince people that this is more tiresome, more expensive, more laboring, but it's the way to go? Farmers are rigid. I've handled farmers for the last maybe 5 years. But this is how we've been doing things over time. My neighbor had better harvests. They calculate things this way. 1 acre, I put in how much? Then how much am I going to get? Now for you coming with your organic agriculture, you're going to invest more. It could even take you longer in terms of harvest, because some of these inorganic fertilizers, even growth time is shorter. You know?
Yeah.
So you're making money quicker. How are you going to sell that and make a breakthrough?
Thank you.
Just for conservation and nutrition.
Thank you for the host. It is very interesting. Very, very much interesting. Yes, well, if you take notes of what you do, be whatever business that you're doing. I'll give you an example. I'm an extension officer. One time I visited a farmer in Namayumba, Tab County. He told me that he's a maize grower for over 10 years back. Then I asked him, how many plant maize do you have in this acre? It was like around, no. Then I was like, are you doing business? Yes, if you're talking about something that is tiresome, what will you invest in something that is not tiresome? Have you ever asked yourself why globally is so high to our ages? It is because, as meter eaters, when I find you into the limousine, I say, I need to have that. But not considering the years that you've worked. So that is what out of our minds, or out of the people's minds. Yes, consider, yes, you need to get that. But into calculations, people are so hating mathematics. But if you don't calculate anything that you do, it won't work out. But it's still in a business all about maximization of profits. Yes. If I have 1 acre, because I'm trying to understand how you're going to market this 32-hour farmers. If I have 1 acre, and when I look at cost of production, maybe it's going to take me 1 million. Cost of production. Using inorganic products. And when I go organic, it's going to take me 1.2 or 1.3. That will mean if eventually I sell and maybe I get about 1.6. If I go inorganic, I'm making more profits. And it's all about maximization of profits. That's how we do business. So here, I'm losing. How would you sell that to me? Mr. Host, in the beginning we talked about the life of the soil. You put in the inorganic fertilizers. But have you considered the microbes, the microbacteria into the soil? I'm going to apply my organic fertilizer, taking longer to reapply the fertilizer. You apply your inorganic fertilizer, the next season you're going to reapply again. And even besides that, of applying the next season, now we are applying on every stage. You facilitate the germination, you facilitate the growth, the hardening of the stem, then you facilitate the fruiting. Then what is that? What is that? And besides that, when God was creating, everything was wise. When we're talking about organic, there is nothing that we produce without using the organic herbs. Take an example. If I'm making a pesticide or a fungicide, you know Phycolata, the pork leaf. You just get that. You chew. You repel the diseases on your vegetables. And what determines the cost price? It is the input. So if I go, I get the Teflosia, the Phycolata, I do make my pesticides, my fungicide. You mean it is going to be expensive? You go on market, you buy NPK. These days, farmers, they have a tendency of buying 1717, NPK 1717. without even knowing that, yes, what is it really that my soil needs triple 17. You apply nitrogen 17, phosphorus 17, and potassium 17. But when the soil or when the plant needs more than that NPK. Take an example of silica, take an example of boron, calcium. Those are all elements that are needed by the plant. But for these inorganic farmers, they don't mind about that. And that's why every season they have to apply. And then they reduce your stay as you're a human being. Because he's mining about making money. It's not fair, it's not caring. What will happen?
Well, that is very important for the farmer, because with people that grow food, yes, the food value chain is quite long.
Exactly.
But I think it is a wise decision to begin with the farmers.
Exactly.
Because market, there could be a bit of contamination. And the worst coming at time of cooking, where now we contaminate it, we cook it, and all these values that are very important ingredients to the body are lost at that level. But now let's go to the element of climate change, where now global warming, where now we are having less rains, or when they come they are so above the average and they are so disastrous. How then does organic farming factor in climate change? Kim.
Okay. Thank you very much. When we look at our world today, and the farming systems are currently facing multiple challenges that, as you've said, they are ranging from climate change, they are ranging from increased hunger. So because the climate change has come, we are seeing less production. We are seeing so many losses in the agricultural system. And where is the challenge coming from? It is now deterioration of the biodiversity. So the biodiversity, we are looking at the soil, we are looking at all things that are within the ecosystem, the plants, the shrubs, the insects. Those insects actually are looking at macro and microorganisms. And these things have an interplay. Today we are seeing people who are now making vermicomposite. And they are making vermicomposite from the wastes. So they brought the black army flies. They are recycling. They are taking back the soil. So because we are looking at recycling, if we've not recycled, then the soil cannot produce enough food. That's exactly what we discussed prior to my talking. So we are looking at how do you maximize your profits. So the only way you can maximize your profit, but not only looking at the income, but also correcting climate change. Diversify your garden. Plant trees, plant crops, they are all in the ecosystem. So because now the soil has been worked on smartly, that is smart agriculture. Smart agriculture, we think we should care for all. So when we care for all, we are planting trees within the gardens, either they are fruit trees or they are timber trees. So these ones actually they are supposed to be working on the formation of the rain. So the question is, how do we use organic agriculture to correct climate change and increase food for our population? So people are asking, can it be possible to sustainably? Because organic agriculture looks at sustainable approaches that are integrated within the science way of doing things. We are looking at food being there at all times. We are looking at people having diversified meals. But now the myth is, people think that when you clear a forest and do monocropping, there you are solving food challenges, which is not the case. So you are clearing a forest, you are damaging the nature. The following day, rains will not come, because these trees are supposed to work to formation of rain. So when it's the cycle where the trees work and now they collect the rain, after collecting the rain, then it flows to the stream. So we are seeing the streams. When now the dry season comes, the streams are evaporating. That is the science we did. All we did, actually we did it all in primary. That is evaporation, formation of rain. So how is it formed? Trees, then open space water. Now because of construction, because of clearing trees, we are not seeing surface runoff that goes to the stream. After now maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks of hot days, then we are seeing all our wetlands dry. What is the problem? The problem is, look at it, the trees you cut, because you wanted to plant a monocrop. Seriously, they are saying you, when you are growing bananas, no trees should be in your plantation. So you clear all the trees. You are growing maize, no tree should be in your maize plantation. You clear all the trees. But remember, that is now the maker of rain. So if we go to organic agriculture, which allows the interplay of the ecosystem, planting all trees, all everything that should be in nature, and we leave it there, we are seeing rain coming, we are seeing food being produced. That's why you see people today are telling you, in Uganda, the bananas we eat come from Congo. Congo, I think, has much more trees than we have in Uganda today. Reason? They can get rain all the time because of the trees. We used to be with Mabira here. We used to get rain all the time. Reason? The trees. They are rain makers. So we are looking at climate change because of the trees. World Bank has been funding projects in Uganda to plant more trees. Plant, grow more trees, grow more trees. So if we go back and make agroforestry, which is one of the concepts we are looking at. Okay, when you're looking at the systems, the practices in organic agriculture, we are looking at mulching. We are looking at making terraces in your gardens. We are looking at adding organic manure. We are looking at intercropping. So when we do intercropping, we say that is a variety of crops. That
You're just reminding me of,
more food to the table.
When you talk about intercropping, you remind me of my once very good friend. That is the late Kasirye Gwanga.
Yes.
If you ever visited his farm, intercropping was the basis. So one time I took a group of people to look at the farm, and someone made a statement, said, so for them, ignorantly, they didn't understand why this man, in a maize plantation, there are trees, there is this, but now what kind of farming is this? You have a banana plantation, then there is maize, then there is that, and they would think you're just anything you find. Yet they say the man has space. Why is he doing this? But now I get the fact that he was conserving the environment.
He was conserving the environment. He was producing more food compared to another person who's not looking at it. Because when he goes to his garden, he's eating the carbohydrate from there. He's getting the treatment, okay, the herbs. Today we are saying we want to make chemicals. No, let me take actually an example to share it with the nation. COVID-19 time. All people are told, if you are not hospitalized, do home treatment. And people are steaming themselves. Using what? They are going to the bushes to get the herbs. So in our organic agriculture, we say, put herbs in your garden. Put lemongrass there. So because these are now repellents that are going to repel, there would be pests that would be attacking your crops. So the system should at least have all ingredients in the ecosystem. The herbs should be there in the same garden because they are helping you to repel the pests. Then some pests, when they come and they find a sweet grass, they are going to feed on that, leaving your plant aside. So it's not contaminated, it's not eaten, it's not damaged. So we are seeing the food that comes without actually your effort. Your effort is actually to put it there. So we are going to find the birds, because the birds will come to sit on the trees. Hey, maybe to eat some guavas, if you have guavas around. So they will eat some, they will leave some others for you. But they will be picking all the insects that will be feeding on your plants. But now when you cut all the trees, you are killing the resting point for the birds that will eat the insects that are attacking the crops. So the system itself, in the ecology itself, we are seeing each element being beneficial. So with that, we are seeing more food on the table, we are seeing climate collected. So that achieving the sustainable development goals. Number 2, that is hunger. So we are looking at incomes. After all that, timber will come as income after harvesting the trees. But now even the food will come. Then when you use your herbs to treat yourself, you are actually saving money that would be to the chemotherapy. Now you are using nutritional therapy. You are eating food. That is diet. So you are saving the money that you will be spent from your family and family members' treatment in the hospital because you are eating good diets.
Well, what a lovely wind up of that. I love the connectivity, the interdependency. If it was anything else, I would look at it as a metrosexual approach full of benefits, where one supports the other supports the other. At the end of the day, we are saving on what we take, good nutrition, and our environment. Well, let me have your final remarks, Matthias.
I'm Titus.
Sorry, Titus.
Yes. My final remarks is, yes, if you're saying you're looking for the multiplication of your pocket and what have you, then mind about your life. Mind about your stay of children tomorrow. Don't think about yourself. Think about the generation. Think about the generation. If you were talking about the vision 2040 and you hear, if you die tomorrow, then do you think that really we shall have the 2040 vision? So, all in all, you're not blamed for the past, but you're responsible for today.
Well, thank you so much, Matthias. Let me have your final remarks.
Okay. I thank the viewers, I thank the host for this opportunity that we've managed to share with the whole country these pertinent issues. I thank PELUM, the Participatory Ecological Land Management Use Systems, for this venture, BIMZ, GIZ team, and IFOM. These are the people actually who fund this project to reach the people down, and maybe I can send greetings to our farmers from different places of the whole country, and greetings to my family members in Gayaza. So I love you so much.
Well, thank you so much. That is Kiyemba Matthias, who happens to be under that is Core Multiplier, which is Knowledge Center for Organic Agriculture. Thank you so much for your time and that very interesting discussion we've had. I know now people know why they should be very sensitive of what they consume, but how best also, some of these things I've learned, organic agriculture is not expensive at the end. It's just letting nature be and having better ways of how we can place each other in the right direction. I love the birds, the guavas, then the water and all that. And also I want to thank, that is Sedubidi Titus, Geoffrey, thank you so much for your time, for that deliberation. Well, you now know, knowledge is power. Make those wise decisions for generations to come, but also to save your body. God bless you.